The Sustainable Manure Management Impacts Tool, or SuMMIT model, is a life cycle assessment platform designed to quantify the greenhouse gas emissions of dairy manure management systems. SuMMIT offers regional resolution, 10 different manure management technologies, and a variety of expert-informed baseline scenarios enabling detailed analysis with minimal data burden. SuMMIT is designed for researchers, co-ops, NGOs, and other agencies interested in understanding which manure management technologies have the greatest emissions reduction potential in each region of the U.S. SuMMIT is not intended for detailed farm-level modeling and is not recommended for precision applications like nutrient management planning or regulatory compliance. In this video, we'll cover where to find and download the SuMMIT model, provide a brief overview of the tool, and give you a preview of what's coming in version 2. To download SuMMIT, simply go to www.dairyconservation.org. Once loaded, go to the search bar in the top right and type in SuMMIT. Click on the first link that appears, and this will take you to the model's host page. Click on SuMMIT V1.2 to download a compressed zip containing the Excel model, the methodology PowerPoint, and the user manual. Or you can also click on the SuMMIT user manual to view the online PDF version. Next, we'll cover a brief overview of how to use the model. Once you've extracted the contents of the zip folder, click on SuMMIT Model version 1.2 Official. If you see a pop-up saying macros have been disabled, make sure to click on Enable Content, or the model will not function. The model opens to the README tab, which includes authorship, basic information, and a legend for data entry. Users only need to worry about 3 cell formats. Purple cells contain drop-down menus that require user selections, yellow cells require number entries, and green boxes are clicked to run analyses and generate results. After clicking a green box, the key results generated from the analysis are selected, highlighted in green, and appear in bold. The README tab also includes buttons to quickly navigate to key model tabs such as the mitigation factor tabs for anaerobic digestion and other non-AD technologies. These mitigation factor tabs provide a summary of key results for each technology and region as they are currently configured in the model. One of the most important features built into the model is the set of baseline scenarios. These represent common practices within regions and are used to characterize the business-as-usual case prior to applying an intervention to create an adoption scenario. GHG mitigation factors represent the delta in emissions between the adoption and baseline scenario that are currently selected for a given technology and region. Baseline scenarios are separated into 4 key configurations, including open lot with concrete feed alleys, confined scrape, and confined flush. These configurations inform how manure is collected, and each represents a unique combination of stacked, flush, vacuumed, and scraped manure. Baseline scenarios also differ in their method of coarse fiber separation and the method of long-term manure storage. These details, as well as process flow diagrams, can be found in the Baseline Scenarios tab. For non-AD technologies, which represent 9 out of the 10 manure management interventions, the basic steps to use the model follow the same procedure. First, the user defines a baseline scenario for each region. This can be done by selecting a pre-made baseline from the drop-down menu, which automatically populates the remaining selections. However, the user may choose to modify some or all of these selections to define a more custom scenario. Drop-down menus are dynamic and adjust based on user selections to prevent the formation of scenarios that cannot be evaluated by the model. Additionally, if you feel that you've made an incorrect selection, you can always return to one of the pre-made baseline scenarios. Once the baseline scenarios are configured for each region, the user may be required to make additional selections or provide data input specific to the technology being evaluated. For example, in the case of cap and flare, we have the ability to adjust the annual flare effectiveness and the biogas capture efficiency of the lagoon liner. With everything configured, we are ready to generate results. This can be done for one region at a time or for all regions simultaneously. After the macro is finished running, the model points to the final results showing the reduction from baseline for each region. Additionally, the model provides a detailed breakout of results showing different sources of methane and nitrous oxide, as well as the anthropogenic greenhouse gas emissions from fuel and energy consumption used for agitation, pumping, land application, and other processes. Below our baseline emissions, we see our methane destruction from implementing the cap and flare process, and below that, a breakout of net emissions after the intervention has been applied. The SuMMIT model reports GHG emissions as metric tons of CO2 equivalents per wet cow equivalent per year. CO2 equivalents represents the combined warming potential of carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide. A wet cow equivalent is a functional unit that captures the weighted average volatile solids excretion of a typical dairy cow considering periods of non-lactation. In other words, the model assumes the average cow is lactating 85% of the time and dry the other 15%. In addition to the baseline scenarios, SuMMIT includes 10 pre-made anaerobic digestion scenarios that are used throughout the model. These scenarios were developed as part of a national assessment conducted with SuMMIT and published in Environmental Science and Technology. You can find the full paper linked in the video description. As you explore the different manure management technologies, you'll notice that some can be paired with others, and in many cases are designed to work together. For example, chemical flocculation can be used as a volatile solids removal method prior to long-term storage, or paired with anaerobic digestion to achieve greater reductions in VS. To make this process easier, SuMMIT provides expert-informed preset scenarios for each technology. Clicking a preset button will automatically populate all the required selections for each region for a given technology. SuMMIT includes 3 dedicated tabs for anaerobic digestion. The first is the Farm Level AD tab, which enables a detailed comparison between a single baseline and anaerobic digestion scenario. Scenarios are configured using the purple drop-down menus, and results are generated by clicking the green button. The results section displays a detailed emissions breakout for both the baseline and AD scenario, and includes stacked bar charts illustrating emissions and credits for each scenario, the total emissions reduction potential, and a carbon intensity score for electricity or renewable natural gas depending on the selected scenario. The Regional AD tab enables multiple scenarios to be configured within each region for a side-by-side visual comparison. And finally, the National Results tab enables the user to apply a specific number of cows from each state to each of the regional scenarios to determine a national emissions reduction potential under various adoption scenarios. The remaining tabs in the model include the mass balances used for all model calculations, background data, emissions factors, and a detailed bibliography. These tabs offer an even deeper look at the calculations and results from the model and offer additional opportunities for user customization. For a detailed description of how to use each tab in the model, please refer to the user manual. Version 2 of the SuMMIT model is currently under development, and we're excited to offer several major upgrades. The primary focus of version 2 is a fully integrated techno-economic analysis that characterizes the capital and operational costs of each manure management technology. The new financial layer adds the ability to determine return on investment, payback periods, and quantifies the cost of emissions reduction, considering economic incentives and value generated by the sale of manure and co-products. Version 2 will also include an enhanced user experience with simplified scenario configuration and enhanced data visualizations. We hope you enjoyed this overview of the SuMMIT model and look forward to the release of V2.0. Please like, share, subscribe, and tell us what features you would like to see incorporated in SuMMIT.